Live!
Time to double check. You check there, I check here.
11 a.m. on the dot.
On the dot. No messing around here. Come on. Oh, I just saw live. There she is. No messing around here, she says. All right. Phone is down. Barb is here. I am here. You are here. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Diana.
I was watching something the other day. I don't remember what because I'm on my phone too much. And the person said, don't address it with, good morning, how is everyone? She said, say, how are you today? As if you're talking to someone. So, how are you today? You drinking your coffee, sitting on your couch. Maybe you're on your iPad, your laptop. How are you today? We are good. I am good. Barb is good.
I'm as good.
We're great. Yes. So, we'll give everybody a few seconds to come on.
I'm good because you guys keep me busy.
Exactly. And I am good because you guys want me to keep making videos, and I am really enjoying it.
She's a star.
Never thought I would say that. I never ever thought that I would say I'm on YouTube and I like it. That's weird. Still weird. Still weird every time. So I'm going to drink my coffee until 11:02, almost, and then we'll talk.
We go Friday mornings too, Diana.
Yes. Do you like pumpkin spice? Are you a pumpkin person? You don't. Do you guys like pumpkin spice? I'm a pumpkin spice lover. Actually, I'm a newer pumpkin spice lover because I used to hate it. And I just, within the past few years, and I have sugar-free pumpkin spice creamer in my coffee. It's delicious.
Now Charlie calls this group the SMC Groupies.
I like it.
Hi, Charlie.
Welcome, groupies. All of the people that have YouTube channels and, you know, successful ones, not mine, but, you know, the people that have like millions of followers, they all have like something they say when they come on, or they have like a theme song. I have none of those. So from now on, because of Charlie, I'm going to address you all. Good morning, So Many Creations groupies.
No, SMC groupies.
I'm sorry. I already messed it up. All right. Well, before I mess up anything else, let's just get into all the other things I can mess up. So let's go through all of our normal stuff. Again, I ask you every week, and I'm going to ask you again, like the page, follow the page, share it if you would like to. Also, if you are on my YouTube channel, please like that and subscribe, get notifications. I told you guys last week, it actually does help me. Who knew, you know? So if you have not been on to the YouTube page in the past week, or if you missed any of the notifications on this page, I did upload another video, just a short one. It was actually part of my contractual obligations with Janome, but I also get to share it with you guys. And it was about top stitching. I've talked about my favorite top stitching foot many, many, many times. I will probably talk about it many, many more times. But if you want to go on there and check that out, I think the video is all of like 3 minutes. It's a short one. But you guys comment and compliment me all the time on my top stitching. And that video is all I do. It's increasing my stitch length and using the right foot, and it's practice. So I got a lot of great compliments on the pictures that I had posted on Instagram and Facebook. You guys love my top stitching. Your top stitching can look just like that if you just practice, and that's really all that it is. I have off days too. Don't think I don't. There are some bags that I'm like, oh, that's not going to be an up close one. So, you know, just practice and try out a different foot. I was talking, I don't know if it was in the group. I don't know. I talked to too many people. Somebody was asking me what the foot that I used would be on like another machine, on like a Husqvarna.
That was in the group.
It was in the group. Thank you, Barb. And I don't always, of course, a potential spam call in the middle. I'm talking, guys. I don't remember because I haven't taught in so long. I can't remember all the different letters or numbers. I know on a Bernina it was like a 5 or a 10 foot. On my Janome it's G. If you know that answer and want to throw it out there for different machines to share with the group, please do that. But it's a, what is it? A blind hem foot is what I use from Janome. If you have a stitch in the ditch or an edge joining foot, any of those groups that have the metal guide in the middle of the foot, that's the foot that I use for top stitching. So watch the video.
Bernina,
yes.
It's a 10 or a 10D.
A 10 or a 10D. Yep. So we'll have that on there, and if I do get the ability to compile a list from everybody, because everyone's got different machines, I'll put that together for you. But just look through your feet. It's something you should have as a standard foot. Look for something that has a metal guide in the middle. And that's actually how I get all of my stitching to look neat, is that even my 1/4 inch foot is the one with the guide. I don't use the open toe or the plain feet, even on my HD9, which has that nice narrow foot. I use that sometimes, but I use the 1/4 inch foot with the guide. That's how I am able to get everything to stay nice and straight. I'm sorry, I think I just shook the camera. Our tables are not the most sturdy.
It's an earthquake.
It's an earthquake. Okay, we're good. I also just, yes.
Somebody just made a comment. Baby lock, it's an edge joining foot.
Yes.
Brother,
perfect.
it's the 0 foot.
Thank you guys. Keep those comments coming, because I will put a little list together so that everybody knows. No, that's awesome, because then I used to know, because I used to be out looking at other people's machines, and now I'm not out, I'm here. So I'm not going to read this to you, but I just wanted to share with you. This week, a couple days ago, one of our members, I think she's a group member, I know she watches the videos because she mentioned it in her email. I won't mention her name. I didn't ask if I could talk about it. She sent me a very sweet email and just said how much she enjoyed the videos, and how much, you know, she's been learning, and that she's part of Court Club, and etc. And just nice email. And I just want to say to all of you, you leave the most wonderful comments. You always send me, you know, nice words. Pass that forward. Pay that forward. Think about maybe in the next week, if you deal with another small business, tell them something nice. Even if you feel like they just did their job, tell them they did a good job. It never hurts our feelings to hear that. And it always, you know, sometimes you're kind of having a crummy day or something went wrong, and someone's like, just so you know, I enjoy you. You're doing a good job. And you're like, well, thank you. So, Barb, you're a great employee. Thank you. You're doing a good job.
Thank you. You're
very
a great
welcome.
boss.
Marlene, are you watching? You're doing an excellent job too. So thank you. It's just always nice. So if, you know, I feel like a lot of people right now, especially during this time, are very isolated. They're not comfortable going out, or they don't have people around them. Think about picking up the phone this weekend, send a text, an email, say hi. Sometimes people need to hear it, even though you kind of forget and don't think they do. So pass the kindness on. Thank you for the sweet emails that I do get from you guys, and the compliments. There was a little chain of just the nicest things this morning on the group. Somebody made her first bag and said she liked my patterns, and everybody was just jumping on saying how much they did and how much they enjoy it. And you guys have no idea how much that makes my heart happy.
You gotta hear this.
My solid, black, deep, cold heart, it gets happy.
Marlene is watching, but she's sitting in the car wash watching.
Marlene's in the car. You know, I need to wash my car. I'm glad she said that, because I was looking out my back window this morning going, oh, that's dirty. So I'm glad you're watching. Just thank you. So be kind, pass it on. This weekend is Labor Day. Is that shocking anybody else? Because I'm like, wait a minute, it's September? I had a customer and her mom shop on Wednesday, this past Wednesday, and she emailed me a week ago to set up the appointment, and she said, we want to come in next Wednesday, September 2nd. And I was like, next Wednesday's not September 2nd. We're still in the middle of August. We're not. Today is the 4th. I don't know why I looked at my watch, because I wrote it down, but I can't believe it's Labor Day. So because it's Labor Day and the post office is closed on Monday, and my house is in desperate need of being cleaned from top to bottom, we will be closed on Monday.
I get Monday off?
The girls have Monday off. There won't be any shipping on Monday. So if you order over the weekend, it won't be shipped until Tuesday or Wednesday. So please just know that if you order between, you know, Saturday and Monday. So we are closed. I will be home, hopefully cleaning, but hopefully sewing instead. Because I don't really want to clean, but I need to clean. My house is kind of dirty. So that's all. Let's have
dirty. It's lived in.
It's lived in. It is. And you know, I read something that said, if I clean the house, it just gets dirty again. But
Correct.
If I sew, I actually accomplish something. So I'm just saying. Before we get into our technology minute, if any of you are in the need to just have a mindless 10 minutes of laughter, of sheer stupidity, and watch me wear my special hat.
And she isn't kidding.
And I'm not kidding. You can go onto the Log Cabin Fabrics page, which is the page I talk about all the time. It's the one I do social media for on Thursdays. Yesterday we had the Quilt Show game show. It's not educational. You will not learn anything. But if you just need 10 minutes to entertain yourself and laugh at 4 adults being children, go watch that. It was pretty funny. Some of you I
really
know already
help.
watched. It's really awkward to say, I'm so funny, but seriously, we were cracking ourselves up and we got nothing but laughter back. So go onto the Log Cabins Fabrics page and watch that. It's fun. Let's have a technology minute, because we've been having those for a few weeks, and I want to let you guys know some more technology stuff. I was reminded of this because somebody was trying to get a hold of me and couldn't, so I want to share information with you about Facebook Messenger. I have asked you guys many times, and I've mentioned this in the past, how I do not like Facebook Messenger and I prefer to not be contacted through Facebook Messenger. And I'm going to tell you why now. This might be something that you don't know. It affects me differently, business and personal, and I'm going to explain both of those. So as far as business is concerned, like my business page that you're on right now, when you message a business, what happens is basically we're on a timer. As soon as that message goes through, I have a certain amount of time that I can answer you. And if I don't answer you in what Facebook deems the correct amount of time, they kind of punish me for that. Don't forget your mic's on. Sorry, guys. They kind of punish me in a way. They say, they give my rating, they drop it down, they make it sound as if I am not responsive. And also, it's hard to keep track of things if there's too many messages. I can't just easily, access them and print them and do things to it. So when you message a business on there, I'm limited on how I can reply to you, and I have to hurry up and do it. And sometimes I'm sleeping or we're in different time zones. Facebook doesn't account for that. So if you need to get a hold of me, it's actually better if you email me. On the personal side, and I don't know if you guys know this or not, but I want to share this with you. When you message somebody personally on Facebook that you are not friends with, they don't get a notification. So Barb and I are friends on Facebook. If I send her a message, she gets a notice on Messenger. If Barb and I are not friends, and I'm like, hey, is this Barb from, the Quilt Guild? And I never hear back from her, I assume it's because she doesn't want to talk to me, which could be the case. You never know. But it also, there's different folders, and Facebook kind of makes it difficult, and so does Instagram, because they're owned by the same company. So that message, because we aren't connected, goes off into space somewhere. I have to really go digging to find it, and so if you message me that way, chances are I will never see it. So if you want to get a hold of somebody, sometimes Messenger is like down at the bottom of the list, just because of that reason. Facebook just does weird things. So if you're ever looking to get a hold of me, email me, always email me, even contact me through the website, post something that says, hey, can I have your email address? Something like that. But if you message me, it just becomes kind of a big, I don't even know. So I'm just letting you know that somebody was trying to get a hold of me, and couldn't get a hold of me. And that's why, because if her message went through, I don't know where it is. So that was your technology minute for the day. Or 3 minutes. I don't know. That went on for a while. So I just like to share with you guys things so you know. So let's get back. 30 days of giveaways. You have a few more weeks to sign up for that. We are trying to beat our number of 42 tickets sold last time. I don't know where we're at right now, but we have a good amount sold. So if you're interested in doing the 30 days, please go ahead and sign up for that sooner rather than later. The drawings for that are going to start the first Friday of October, which I believe is the 2nd. I think it's going the 2nd through the 31st. Barb's going to check right now. And I have decided on the charity. So half the proceeds do go to a charity. Yes, it's October 2nd. And I have decided to send half of our proceeds, I have to stop doing that, I keep shaking the camera, to the Alzheimer's Association.
Oh, that's nice.
A friend of mine recently found out that her husband is in early stages of Alzheimer's. It's something that's always, it's always been something that has not affected me on a personal level. Luckily, neither of my grandparents ever dealt with that. Nobody in my life has dealt with that. But I know other people that have, and it just breaks my heart that you have to go through that. I hope that nobody I ever love has to. I hope no one you ever love has to go through that. But I hear these heartbreaking stories from friends of mine. And so I thought, let's give to an organization that will hopefully find a cure for this someday. Let's hope. So even if it's just a small part, let's do our part. So Alzheimer's Association is our charity for this round. I will update the listing and put that in there just so that it's done. Again, homepage of the website, as soon as you open it up, orange box, says 30 days fall edition, and there's a little fall picture next to it. $30 gets you 30 chances in our raffle. I come on live every day for 30 days and pick a name and pick various prizes. You can win up to 30 times. And a lot of our winners from last time did win multiple times. So if you're interested, go ahead and sign up. Tell your friends if they want to win things. Maybe they want to win things for you. Who knows? So let's beat our number. Next Friday, I will get the number and we'll see where we're at, and I'll let you guys know, and maybe we can keep promoting. And I want to make sure everybody hears it this time. I don't want anyone to feel like they got left out. So that was that. Court Club is shipping soon. So if you have not signed up for Court Club, it is going to be shipping not next week, but the week after. So the week of the 14th. Because it ships around the 15th. It'll probably ship Monday or Tuesday, the 14th or 15th. I think the 14th is Monday, right? Yes, because you said you're not here. So I will be shipping Court Club. So if you are interested in signing up and you want to get in on the first shipment, sign up as soon as you can, probably in the next week or so. I will not be taking the listing down, but if you miss out on September, you will just automatically go to October or whatever month you sign up for. I'm sorry, I needed more pumpkin. It's so good.
Oh. Were you Pandemica yesterday?
I was.
Somebody said good morning. Oh, Lisa. Lisa said good morning, Pandemica.
Yes, yesterday during our game show, I made my debut as Pandemica Trebek.
That's right.
Alex Trebek, please don't sue me for using your last name. I meant it as a fun thing. So yes, that's my alter ego, apparently. I forgot to write down how many members are in the group. Don't get out of there because you'll never get back. I'm going to check because I want to know.
450.
We have a lot of members, and I want to check our group. Who's going to get it first? Barb or me? 452 members. Haha.
I was going to say 450. I knew
We're
it was 450
over the 450 mark. We have 452 members.
Keep signing up so we can give away.
Barb wants a giveaway, so you guys got to get us to 500. We don't know what the giveaway is because she won't decide, but it's her idea, so she has to pick it.
You may not like it.
Me or them?
You.
You win everything. No, not everything. So, yay group, 452 members. That makes me very happy. Again, quick note, yes, the pop-up shop is open. If you want to come and shop and see all the things in person, we had some customers last week and over the weekend. So if you want to make your appointment, we are by appointment only. Send me an email. And now let's get into something that I asked in the group. So if you are not a group member, you might want to think about joining because then you would know what I was talking about. But I asked a question the other day. I was taking a walk and I was listening to a podcast and all of a sudden this idea popped in my head and I was like, ooh, this might be fun. Barb has no idea what I'm talking about. Excuse me, you kind of do, but you don't. You did comment on it. So she's like, I don't know.
I comment on a lot of things.
I comment on a lot of things. So I asked you guys, I'm going to get out my page here. Here we go. I asked you guys in the group if you would be interested in doing a handmade holiday swap. And a lot of you said, give us more information. Some of you said yes. Some of you were like, So I just wrote down some stuff. This is not set in stone. I want to see if you guys want to do this and I will set it up. Even if we have 5 people that are interested, I don't care. I don't care if it's a few people. I don't care if it's 105. I will set this up and I will do this if you guys want. Because it's work on all of our ends, but I'm the one that has to kind of make the guidelines. So if you've never done a swap before, or if it's been a while since you've done one, basically what it means is that, let's say that Barb and I both join, and we'll grab Marlene too. So we're all in the swap. I'm going to mix up the names. So maybe I'm going to make something for Barb, but Barb's going to make something for Marlene, but Marlene makes something for me. So whoever I make something for isn't automatically my partner to send something back. We kind of mix it up so it's a secret. And we keep it a secret. So what you're going to do is you're going to make a handmade item. And really the basic rules, because I'm the one setting it up and it's through our group, make one So Many Creations item. It's a wallet, a purse, a tote bag, whatever item you want to make. You make that item for your swap partner. And throughout the time, you can post pictures and you might post something and say, oh, partner, do you like this fabric? And you see if someone comments. I might post something and Barb might go, that's beautiful. I hope it's for me. But she doesn't know that it's for her. So I never tell her. She doesn't find out until she gets my gift. But in the meantime, you know, you post little hints and you show things, or you say, you know, people will say, I don't know who my swap partner is, but I hope you know, do you like the green or the blue better? And you get some feedback, and it's just kind of fun. It's a little kind of a secret Santa kind of a thing. A lot of times people will also send little extra items. Maybe you'll make a whole set of things. Maybe you'll send them some little candies or things that they like. And what I will do on my end is, if you guys are interested, I'll have you send me an email with your shipping address, because I will need to send that to your partner. And then I'll send out a little survey that just says, you know, like, what's a color you love? What's something you know, what prints do you not like? What kind of treats do you like? So we have little extra ideas so that we can all send little packages to each other. There will be a deadline so that you know that by November 1st, whatever it is, you have to have your package in the mail. So you have to ship it to your partner. It will be US only, so you won't have to worry about anything international. We will keep it within the US. You know, you can ship it first class. It costs you a few dollars. But it's just a little way to get a little handmade gift, because I don't know about you guys, no one ever makes me anything, because they know you can make it yourself. And you hear that, well, why would I make it? You can make it yourself. Well, it still doesn't mean I don't want someone to make me something. So as long as you get that one item done, anything above and beyond is your choice. You can send little gifts, whatever you want to do. We keep it a secret, and then in the end you can show off, you know, what you got, and you know, it's just kind of a fun thing to do. The only thing that I'm going to ask of you is if you sign up, and it's free, I mean, it's, you know, just a thing for us to do, I will give you a deadline to make sure I get an email, I get your information by, so I can get the swap partners. I will send everybody the information of who they need to make something for, make sure you have the address. The one thing I will ask though, if you know, and you know yourself better than anyone, if you know that you're that person that procrastinates until the end and then you forget about things, or you just decide you don't want to do it, don't sign up, because it's not fair. You know, if I sign up and then Barb doesn't get a present because I just changed my mind, you know, it's hard, because then I got something and she didn't get something. Life happens. I 100% understand that there are things that happen in our lives that we don't expect. Something happens to you personally, health-wise, whatever it is, as soon as you can, contact me and just say, Barb is my partner. I'm not going to be able to make it. I have some personal things. I will get someone else to be her partner. I will make it, whatever we need to do. So sign up if you really have good intentions and you want to do it. If something happens, just let me know. You know, something happened and I'm not going to be able to do it. It's just a little fun thing. I did one years ago through Instagram. It was huge. There were hundreds of people in this swap. I don't even know the person I sent to. We still chat here and there. So it's just making a new friend and just getting a homemade thing in the mail.
Charlie has a nice name for it. He says he's happy to sign up as an angel.
As an angel.
As an angel.
Yes. So what that means, if you guys are not familiar, Charlie volunteered to be an angel, is he's kind of like a helper for me that kind of helps to make sure everything's going smoothly, and, you know, helps out with little things here and there just to kind of make sure that the swap goes well. And depending on how many of you want to do that, I may need more than one angel. If only 5 of you want to do it, I think I can handle it.
Marlene and I may have a sit-in.
We
may have a sew-in one day.
If you're interested in doing that, either send me an email and just say, hey, I want to do it, and then just hang in there and I'll get stuff together, or leave a comment here and say, yes, we want to do the swap. And if you guys don't want to do it, it's fine. It was just an idea. Yes.
Somebody just wants to clarify, it's a SMC pattern only.
You have to make one item from one of my patterns, because I'm the swap host. So that's all that I ask. If you want to make other items, that's fine. I'm just saying, just to have some kind of connection and just a smidge of thank you for me, because this might be more work than we even know, depending on how many people do it. One item that's part of my patterns, that's all that I ask for. And that's all you're committing to. If you only want to make one item, that is fine. If you want to go above and beyond and make a bunch of things and buy a bunch of gifts, that's your call. As the person getting the gift, be kind and just know that everyone has different time and, you know, budget limits. So as long as you will get something handmade, and on top of that, I don't know what you'll get. So think about it. If you want to do it, let me know, leave me a comment, send me an email, and if you want to do it, I will put it together. But we're going to talk about it in the group. So if you're not a group member, join the group. That way we can do our hints and our discussions and stuff there. It'll just be easier to keep it there than it will to keep it on the page. There's so much that goes on the page. So that was just an idea I had. Let's see if you guys like it. So that was that. Let me just see. Yes. And that was it. I will put together like a list of guidelines and not rules, but everything if you guys are interested. So let me know. Before we get into today's tips, our get to know you question. We're going really easy today just because. What's your favorite color? That's all I want to know from you today because I'm just curious. And I will tell you, my favorite color is purple. I've mentioned it. Barb knows that already.
Yeah.
My favorite color has been my favorite color since birth. And my mom has waited a long time for me to grow out of it, and I still like it. She does not like purple. I love it. And I love purple so much. My grandmother, when I was little, I lived with her. And when we moved and I got my own nice, fancy new bedroom, my grandmother went to every carpet place in New York State to find me purple shag carpet for my bedroom. That's how much she knew I loved it. And it's not easy to find. And I had beautiful purple carpet. Nobody liked it except for me, but it made me happy. I love purple. I never wear it, but I like it. Yes.
Before you go on farther, somebody wants to be reminded of the name of the group.
The name of the group, So Many Creations. If you go to the top of the page, there's a little scroll bar that you should be able to find group. Otherwise, if you search in your search bar in Facebook, So Many Creations group has the little tiny rainbow colored cork and says So Many Creations in a circle. The page is a picture of hardware. The group is a picture of cork. And it'll say close group and just ask to be, ask to enter, ask to be admitted. I don't know what the word is. I've lost my words again. Ask to join.
Ask to join. Join. That's
wow. And I haven't thrown anything yet today.
Not yet.
There. That's
at least
what I
it wasn't at me.
I have never thrown anything at you. Near you, but not
Near me.
Okay. So, Barb, what's your favorite color? I already know.
You know?
I do.
Aqua.
Barb loves her some
I
blue.
love my
She loves her aqua. So, what's your favorite color? It doesn't mean anything, but I
purple's
just
out
want to
there.
know. Purple's a good color. I don't look good in purple, though. That's the only beef I have with purple. It is not a good color on me, which is why I don't wear it. I'm usually dressed in black. I actually wore a color today. But
Purple.
I do love it. So
Blue, green.
if there's an option to buy something and it comes in purple, that's first choice. If it comes in pink, I'll go with pink. But that's
Pink
just
used to be my favorite color when I was young.
I still love pink. And I'll tell you another quick thing. My husband, I know, is not watching because I can hear him working out there. As you know, as a girly girl married to a very,
manly
man who's always dressed in black from head to toe, who does not venture out ever out of black, who works in a shop and is always covered in grease. I thought, you know what? I know how I'll make sure that my things stay my things. I'll buy them in pink. Pink and purple. Everything that I can find, if it comes in pink. Pink phone charger, pink Bluetooth, pink coffee mug. He took them all. He has no shame. I actually caught him one day wearing a pair of my pink socks. I kid you not. I said, our Snap-on rep gave us all socks and I got the pink ones. And I came home one day and I said, lift up your pant leg, mister. I'm dressed in black from head to toe. Why are you wearing pink socks? He goes, I couldn't find any socks today. I wore yours. So it does not work. It did not work to my benefit. He just took everything I owned that was pink. So, I tried. But that's okay. I love him. So, it is September. So it's technically back to school season. I don't know how that applies in your life right now or anyone's, but we're calling the month of September here back to school. So a lot of the demos and the Facebooks are going to be about basic stuff. We're going to go back to the basics, things that I guess a lot of us take for granted that we forget we know how to do, or that we forget we're not really good at, or that we just don't know what to do. And one of those things that's super important in bag making and sewing of any time is ironing. So we are going to talk pressing 101 today, because number one compliment that I get is how great my top stitching is. Number one complaint / question / email / help me I get is I can't get my Decor Bond to stick. So that is what we're going to talk about today, on top of just pressing in general, because I think it's something that we all need to think about sometimes, that maybe we could change something in the way we're doing it and make our lives easier. So I just wanted to let you know that, again, the rest of September, we're going to do some real basic stuff. I will also be doing a bonus video on September 10th, which is a week from yesterday, next Thursday, probably in the morning, because I'm going to be doing a short retreat video the next Friday. So next week we're going to do the 10th and the 11th. I'll probably be here by myself for the 10th, so I'll make it something easy that I can answer comments later because Barb won't be here. So next week, 2 videos. The week after that, we have a short video because I'm going to a retreat and I'm bringing you with me. We're going to see how it goes during a pandemic. So I'm going to move this out of the way. I covered all my stuff. And what I want to talk about first, before I start pressing anything and before I show you my tips for Decor Bond, is I want to talk about our tools. Barb and I were talking about that this morning because actually somebody else was just doing a pressing video. When it comes to quilting versus bag making, I have 2 very different approaches. So the way I press a quilt block is very different from the way that I approach pressing stuff for bags because the materials are different, the seams are different. You could have a quilt block that has 57 seams in it. You want to be really careful with that. Most bags are going to be minimal and your pressing is going to be in certain areas and for particular reasons. So one of the things that I cannot emphasize enough is to get a good iron. And by good, I do not mean go out and spend $200 on an iron. Because I'm going to tell you right now, I've said this before, I am not an advocate for buying an expensive iron. You can be mad at me if you have a Rowenta or an Aliso and those are the irons that you love, that is fine. Irons are like cars, we all have a different preference. If it works for you, perfect. I can't justify spending that much money on an iron, and I have just heard too many bad things about the expensive irons that they're not selling me on it. They're not making me want to run out and spend that kind of money on an iron. It's an iron. I need it to do a couple of things. That's it. I don't need an iron that automatically lifts up and down. They actually drive me crazy. I apologize if you like those irons, but they make me bananas. And as a teacher, when I'm used to having an iron standing up and every time I turn around, they're leaving the regular iron down. I'm like, you're burning the ironing board. So I can't wrap my head around that. And I don't feel that in my life, I need that. And also, does the $200 iron for me? Because then I will buy it. Otherwise, I just can't justify it. So please don't come at me and be hateful in the comments. If you love your Rowenta, your Aliso, your whatever, good. I'm glad. You just need to find an iron that works for you. So the iron that I have found, and for many, many years, and I've been teaching for a long time, I loved my Shark irons so much that I used to bring them with me to classes. I loved them so much that the people who owned the shops I taught at would buy those irons because their students would comment on them and say, those irons are amazing. And I don't know what happened, but the last 2 Shark irons that I bought, both died immediately. They had leaking problems. The buttons stuck. They just stopped working. And Shark makes a good product. I have one of their mops. They have good vacuums. Their irons were great. And then all of a sudden one day they weren't. And I don't know what happened. I have no idea what the issue is. So I have found, this is my favorite iron right here. And this could change in a year. This is a Sunbeam. This is a 1400 watt. It's a pretty good size. It's not super heavy, but it has a good weight to it. I don't want a lightweight iron like when you go to a hotel and hotel irons, no. Like I can barely iron a shirt with those. I'm like, what's the point in this iron? It weighs nothing.
And it's funny when you talk about cheap irons for the retreats. I have Black & Deckers.
Exactly.
$29 irons and everybody raves about them.
Exactly. And sometimes the cheap ones work better than the expensive ones. And for me, I found this one about a year ago. I have one here. I have one at home. The exact same iron. It's nothing special. It's a 1400 watt iron. I checked that because I bought this one on Amazon. My first one came from Target, but they didn't have it the last time. And actually, because Target didn't have this, I bought another Sunbeam, same brand.
Yeah.
I hate it. It's sitting over there on a shelf. I hate that iron. I used it for 2 YouTube videos and I was like, I'm done. It didn't get hot enough. It didn't do anything for me. This one has a retractable cord, which I hit myself in the face with every single time I retract it, but I do like that I don't have to worry about where the cord is. Why can't they make them go in gently? It just starts doing this and then you get smacked and it hurts. So I always back up. It has a linen setting, that's the hottest setting. It has 3 steam settings and an off button, so it's easy. It's got the water and the steam. It's basic. There's nothing special about this iron, but I love it. And I fell in love with it.
You know what else is nice about it? It has a metal sole plate.
Yes.
It doesn't have any of
It's
that
metal. It's
stuff to
not
scratch.
one of the Teflon ones. It's
Yeah.
not one of the ones you have to be careful with. This is metal. Yes, I almost touched it. Yes, it is on. This one does go to sleep, which it is right now, and you just have to tip it, and it's on. That is what I did not like about the other Sunbeam. It was very lightweight, because when you're buying it in a box, you can't tell. And I was like, oh, it's a Sunbeam. It'll be fine. Very lightweight, feels very cheap. You can't tip it to turn it back on. It had a button on the side, which I didn't know, and you had to like find the button and push it in to reset. I don't like that. So this is the one that I have been using. Barb likes Black & Decker. She brings those when she does retreats.
Yeah.
Log Cabin loves Tefal irons. And it's just a matter of finding, get one that has a metal plate if possible. Get one that, you know, I like when it goes up to linen, because a lot of them stop at cotton, but linen is like scorching hot, which is what I always have it set on. And I'm going to show you when I do the Decor Bond. I don't adjust that ever. I even iron if I have to iron clothing. I'm like, well, I hope this doesn't burn. So I'm not a good housewife.
You don't iron.
I don't iron.
Somebody wants to know what you think of the small irons. Would they be good for getting in the smaller areas of a bag?
The small irons, they are hit or miss. I will say Rowente's travel iron, awesome. That iron gets scalding hot. Some of the other really lightweight, the ones that you tend to find at Joann's, the craft kind of irons, they don't get that hot, and I've always had issues getting water in them, even though they're supposed to take steam. They don't, and we will talk about steam in a minute. I have found, I don't know who makes them, because it was something that people were buying at quilt shows. Maybe you'll know what I'm talking about. It looked like a gardening tool. It had the wooden handle, and it was like this big.
It's a little, yeah.
And it came with a little wooden base. I have never felt heat come off of an iron like that. Like, it would be near me and I could feel the heat. Those little irons, if you ever find one, Barb's going to see if she can Google it. Those irons were awesome. Those little itty bitty mini clover irons, they're okay, but they're more crafty than they are bag making. But the question was also about getting into small areas. We're going to talk about how I do that too, with something other than my iron. So a couple of things. So number one, regardless of anything else that you have, get an iron that works for you. I want one that gets as hot as possible and has good steam. This one, even vertically, has awesome steam. And the button to turn it off, very important that it's easy to use, because when you're doing handles or making videos with a camera above it, you want to turn the steam off. So Barb's still looking for that.
Well, I found the Clover Mini.
The Clover Minis are okay. And what is that right there? That little tiny white one where your thumb is? Nope.
Oh, this one?
Those are the ones I don't like. Those I've had issues with.
Doesn't even say what the brand is.
Yeah, it doesn't have a name. So
just says small.
A small iron.
Oh, it's a Steam Fast.
Steam Fast. Those are the little irons.
Those white ones.
I have had bad luck with those not getting hot. And you know, you buy these. That's the one. You buy these Steam Fast irons because they're small and they're less wattage, and you can take them when you go to a retreat or a class to have next to you. But what does it matter if it's not getting hot enough? So that's just one of those things. And I will say, if you are fortunate enough to have an iron from years and years ago that you've had forever, do not throw it out until that thing actually dies. Because the old irons were the best irons. The new ones, if I get a year out of this, I'll call it a good day. I know this is not going to last forever. This was a $29.99 iron. I don't care if it only lasts me a year. When I'm buying a $200 iron, I don't want that thing to ever die. So number one, get a good iron. Number two, turn it up, crank it up, get it hot, and steam. Even if you don't like steam for quilting or for other sewing that you do, I cannot live without steam. And even when I think it's just a quick seam I'm going to press, I need steam. I put tap water in this iron. I don't treat it special. I don't do anything special. A lot of the cheap irons now actually have a label on it that says, please use tap water. I don't want to buy special water. I don't want to have to worry if someone uses my iron, they didn't know and they put the wrong water in. Irons need to do like two things for us. They need to steam and they need to get hot. That's it. So I'm not a big proponent of the fancy irons. I'm sorry. I like my cheapy Sunbeam. I love this iron.
Me too.
And I bought it fairly recently, so if you are in the market for one, I got it on Amazon within the last couple of months, because again, I didn't like the one here. The other one was from Target. So number one. Number two is your pressing surface. If you don't have a good pressing surface, you're not gonna get a good press. And so let me grab mine. When I am here making videos, I use this one. I know my head's probably cut off, but you can still hear me. This is my TNT quilt board. This one folds up. It has a handle so I can take it with me, but it folds up flat so I can store it here because it does stay in the shop. What I love about these boards, number one, they're made by a small business. I love supporting other small businesses. Tracy and Tim have become friends of mine because we've met at shows. So it's always nice to support people that you know and to support small businesses. These are all made by hand. Tim makes these boards. But what I like is that it's hard. There's not a lot of cushion here. And excuse me, sometimes when you have a regular ironing board or you get a new ironing pad and you get one that's kind of squishy, it doesn't help with the pressing because it doesn't really give you a firm surface. And that's what you need with bag making, is something firm. So I like this board, but I also use a wool mat. I use my wool mat a lot. I am so sorry, I keep shaking the camera. I hope you're all not getting nauseous. I use my wool mat a lot because I find that this helps me with fusing. And if you're not familiar with wool mats, or if you haven't ever used one or you've heard about them, let me give you kind of my, rundown on wool mats. I used to sell them when we were at shows because they are big and bulky and hard to ship, so I don't have them on the website. If you're interested, check your local quilt shops. Be careful if you buy them online because they are not all the same. This is a Granny's Legacy one. It is thick. I think it's like 5/8 of an inch thick. It is a felted wool pad, and there are others out there that are very thin and that don't do the job. And also, some of the cheaper ones have this weird wavy texture to them that doesn't help when you're ironing. This one, the Granny's Legacy, this is my favorite. Granny's Legacy is out of Minnesota. They're a mom, actually they're a whole team, mom and daughter and husband, and everybody's involved. Excuse me. They made these for wool applique because they work really nicely for pressing. But when you are pressing fusible interfacing, the wool mat is really awesome because what this does is it retains the heat. So when you're ironing this way, the heat from the back is actually working through, and it really helps to adhere that. Now, let me just tell you one thing. I'm just going to be upfront about it. A lot of people are very sensitive to the odor that can come out of the wool mat. I did notice in my bigger one, not really in this one, but in my bigger one, the first couple of times I used it with steam, remember I'm getting this kind of damp, it did have a little bit of a smell, and it smells like a wet dog. There's really no other way to describe it. It just smells like a wet dog, wet sheep. It does go away. And if you're very sensitive to odors, it might bother you, but I am not, and I smelled it, but then it went away. It didn't make my fabric smell. I didn't have this odor in my sewing room. I wasn't offended by it. Barb has them. She takes them to retreats because I had a bunch of extras that were open from shows. She uses them. They were fine. Obviously,
Spray
if you have a
Best Press on them with a scent, and
that's exactly what I did. I sprayed mine with Best Press, ironed it a few times, let it sit in there, and it just kind of eliminated the odor. So I'm just letting you know if you are sensitive to that. Also, if you have a wool allergy, I would say don't touch this.
Charlie wanted to clarify.
Yes.
Make sure you use it on a safe surface because the heat and the steam will go through it.
Yes, and Charlie, you are absolutely right. If you iron on your dining room table and you just have a surface, the steam will come through here and you can ruin it. So I always have my wool mat on an ironing board. I do have one at home that is the length of my ironing board. I have this one here, and I don't always use it. It depends on what I'm doing. But if I'm fusing, I do. I think I have wool in my mouth now.
Somebody said it smells like a wool winter coat to her.
It does. So a lot of people say, I don't smell anything, and a lot of people are like very offended by it, and they're like, it smells terrible. It all depends on what your perception is. I mean, you know, I live at home with 3 dogs. Everything smells, so I'm just kind of used to it. But I like to let you know that, but it does go away. So if you've been considering one and wondering if you really need one because maybe you don't do wool applique, I love this for fusing, and I'm going to fuse some Decor Bond for you guys. So get a good surface, get a surface that's hard. Maybe now's the time. We have a long weekend. Go recover your ironing board, you know, make it pretty, make you happy. If you're interested, I have linked Tracy's website if you want. This is her small travel board. She has all different sizes, including ones that sit on top of your ironing board. I don't have room for that because I work in my living room in a corner, unfortunately. When I have my sewing room back, I will get a big one. But if you're interested in her, let me know. I will link her again just so you can go to her website. She's out of Massachusetts. So get a good surface. I already lost my notes. There it is. Okay, let me make sure before I start ironing anything. And I'm throwing stuff on the floor. Good iron, good pressing surface, clappers. We're gonna talk about clappers. Don't do this, it hurts my ears. So, clappers, can you see them?
I can see them.
You can.
Yes.
You're such a smart aleck.
I can see them on the screen.
So,
too.
clappers. I talk about these a lot. A lot of you have purchased them from me. A lot of you don't know what they are. You wonder what on earth is a clapper. Excuse me. I don't know why they're called that. I could not tell you to save my life. But these are also made by Tracy and Tim. These are also a small business find. And I love this for bag making. So the question that happened earlier about the small irons for getting into small spaces, I don't use a small iron. I use these. And I can grab a bag and show you, but basically when I need to iron into a corner or I need to iron a bag and I don't have the pointed part of an ironing board or a sleeve board or anything around, I can put this inside of it and then I can iron on top of it. So why do I use clappers for pressing? Number one.
Why do you use clappers for pressing?
Let me tell you, Barbara. So the wood, just like the wool, holds the heat in. So after I have ironed something and I do this, I can put it on top of that thing and I can use it to put some weight on it, to get my seams flat, to get my cork flat, to make my Decor Bond fuse, because that's what we're going to do in a minute. I use these for everything. I have a small and a large. This one's 15, this one's 25. I do use them both. I actually have 3 of them at home. I use them when I'm folding handles. I use them for any seams. I use them when I need to get inside of bags. If you haven't tried a pressing clapper, I would encourage you to consider it. I do sell them. There's other people that sell them, but you're here and I'm just going to tell you I sell them. But I love these because they have a groove on the side, so it's easy to hold. And what Tracy was telling me is that the reason they started making the small one is because a lot of her customers that were having a problem with, stiff joints, holding big clappers, they made the smaller one. I just like them both because this one fits into little bags and this one fits into bigger ones. And also I line them up when I'm doing long seams or handles. So for me, I use them both. You can just get one. But if you were wondering why, I'm going to show you how I use them on Decor Bond. And I'm going to, before I give you a little pressing demo, I'm going to move this. I want to show you a little trick I do when I cut my Decor Bond. And Barb's going to check and see if we need to move the camera or if we're good. Can you see me okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm going to grab over here. I got a pile of fabric for you. I'm going to grab a square of each. So I've already cut these, but I'm going to trim down the Decor Bond. So this square right here is a 9-inch square. Okay. So this is for whatever part of the bag, and I need to add Decor Bond to this. Sometimes if I'm lazy and I don't cut this correctly, I don't want that sticky part to come out and stick out from my fabric and get stuck on my iron. So the way that I remedy that, and I don't write this into patterns because it's hard to explain sometimes, but what I do when I'm cutting, and again, this is not a quilting demo, so yes, I'm using the lines on my mat. I don't do that when I'm quilting. I use my ruler, but it's bag making. It's okay. So I line up my Decor Bond, and I'm at the 9-inch mark. Of course, it just wants to keep sliding. There. Okay, so I'm at the 9-inch mark because I need a 9-inch square, but instead of cutting here, I slide my ruler back about 1/8 of an inch, and I cut it, and it's not an exact measurement. I just cut it a little bit smaller. So I line this up here at 9, and then I slide my ruler back roughly 1/8 of an inch. You can even go 1/4 of an inch. And if you cut all of your Decor Bond and all of your fusibles a hair smaller than your fabric, when you're lining this up, it's still going to get caught in the seam allowance. So you're still going to get a nice stabilized piece of fabric. but you have a little bit of wiggle room here that you don't have to worry about getting any of the fusible on your iron. So let's talk about the Decor Bond. I get emails on a weekly basis about why can't I get mine to stick? You can. So number one, I already told you, hottest setting possible. This is on the linen setting. This has water in it. I always use steam, always. Also, Barb and I found something funny today. I almost forgot.
Yeah.
I was going to tell you guys, don't read the instructions because the instructions are terrible. But guess what? I just ordered 8 bolts of Decor Bond. None of them have instructions on them. So maybe they finally caught on that nobody likes their instructions, or maybe it was a blip. I don't know how it happened. So that's okay. Ignore their instructions. Listen to me. Number one, I put my Decor Bond down and I am using my wool mat. The shiny side is facing up. The non-fusible is down. I take my fabric and I put my fabric on top, get it all lined up. And I usually start in the middle just for a few seconds to kind of get it to start sticking. And then I move my iron over. Now I am not ironing. I am not pushing, because when you push, this happens. Your fabric starts to stretch. You won't be able to see it, but I'll show it to you. I'm pushing this edge really hard here. Don't push really hard. Don't stretch your fabric out. This is how much pressure I put on the iron. I'm just moving it around. And once it starts to adhere, you can add a little bit more pressure, but in the beginning, don't push really hard. So I go over it. I've gone over the whole thing. I'm on my corners a little bit, and then I stop. I give it a second to cool down and I flip it over. And from the back, this is where I can see, and I don't know if this is going to pick up for you, but on the back, can you see any of those wrinkles?
A little bit.
Probably not.
Yeah.
I can see that there's a ton of bubbles and wrinkles. That's what happens, and that's what ends up happening to your pieces, and then it comes off. You see, it's not fully adhered. So how do I get it to stick on there better? Very carefully. If I need to iron on the back, I will. I try not to do this a lot unless there's a lot of bubbles, because Decor Bond isn't cotton based. It doesn't like to be ironed on the back. I do that a little bit, and then I will go in here, and I'm hoping, yes, it's wrinkling. That's what I wanted. I spend a few extra seconds here, really hitting it with steam, and I take my clapper, and I let my clapper do its job. It's letting it cool slower. It's adhering better. You can gently kind of glide this over. There's a little pucker right there. Let's iron that. And I just keep pressing. The clapper and the wool mat, great combination. Even if you don't have the wool mat, the clapper really helps to draw that heat down a little bit slower. And it keeps your piece flat, okay? And even if, and I'm gonna see if I can get this to really wrinkle on the back, because that's usually when it's not happening. We tried this once and it wouldn't do it for me. Let's see. Oh, look at that.
I did it this time.
Okay. Uh-oh, I ruined my fabric. Nope. I come back over here. I use the nose of the iron to kind of work out those wrinkles a little bit at a time. Use my clapper. You can even leave the clapper on. Kind of work around.
You made a mess of that.
I did make a mess, and I'm glad. Work it around. Use the clapper. Smooth it out. All right. And just use the nose of your iron, which I'm actually going to turn that off because it's fogging up my glasses. And just keep working. And if I need to, while it's still warm, I'll pull it off.
You gave yourself a real job this time.
I did. And it worked this time.
Exactly.
I'm using my clappers, and now I'm just going to let it cool. I'm just going to let it stay there. The bigger your piece of fabric, the more time it takes, the more effort it takes, the less likely you are to get it perfect the first time around. But just like that, I got one more little spot I'm not happy with. Hot, hot, hot steam. Try a clapper. And this is how I get everything to stick.
It's twofold. You get a facial at the same time.
You get a facial, your glasses get clean, it's great. So that's how I get my Decor Bond to stick. And remember, what it looks like back here doesn't matter. There's a little wrinkle right here. It's shriveled a little bit on this edge. Who cares? That is not what counts. It's what's outside that counts. It's not what's inside that counts. We are not being, working on ourselves. We're working on our bags, and bags only matter on the outside. So that is how I get my Decor Bond. I take it slow. I don't try to just iron it all at once. I don't stand there and hold my iron on here forever, because that's when you're going to start to get a lot of wrinkling and a lot of the fabric kind of shifting on you. So one more little tip, and I've showed you guys this before. I've lost all my words already because we're closing in on an hour. So if I want to use fleece, and this is way too big because I cut it ahead of time, so let me just trim this down. Just going to trim this real quick. I'm not even paying attention to what size this is. I'm just going to lob off a few inches just so it's small. Okay, so when it comes to fleece, and I have my piece of Decor Bond already fused on and I need to put fleece on, this is drastic. It's a lot smaller, but usually, actually it's not too bad. My piece is usually about 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch smaller. With fleece, you can always go smaller than you think you need to, because the fleece does tend to stretch a little bit. So what I do to really make this adhere is, again, first round, I put my fleece bumpy side up. I take my fabric and I put it on there, and you can, work on the back, get it where you want it. And I just very quickly steam it, run the iron over it. I'm not adhering it, and I know that. And then I'm going to turn it over and I'm going to iron on the back side, because this will keep the fleece from shriveling on the edges, and it makes it stick better because you warmed the glue up from the opposite side. And that's how I get my fleece. You see, I'm just going around and pressing. You can use your clapper again if you have any spots that don't want to stick. Again, the bigger the piece, the more time it takes. These are little squares. So that's really, those are all the things that I do that make the Decor Bond stick. I have no secrets. I have not ever not told you guys something. So if you are having problems with Decor Bond, check your iron. You might think that your iron's super hot and it's not. Check and make sure that it's turned all the way up. Use steam. Add extra steam with the steam button. Try a wool mat if you have one or you want to try one. Get a clapper. That makes a huge, huge difference. I was blown away by how much of a difference this made. I actually bought my first one not even thinking about bags. I actually bought it because I didn't have one. And I was like, well, I want one. I don't have one. That is 90% of why I buy anything. I'm like, well, I need that because everybody else has one. My local shop was selling it, and I was like, that's cool, I want one. So I found that this has made a huge, huge difference. And actually, I told you I was going to show you how I use it in a bag. Let me grab a bag quick, something I can get into. So I have a bag, it's all done, and I need to press. So I take my clapper, the more narrow rounded end, and I stick it right into the corner. Sometimes I'll stack them, sometimes I'll just use one, and I'll put it right there in the corner and just iron. It just really helps to get those corners pushed out. You can put it in the bottom. You can give this a good press. That's how I use it, rather than using a small iron, rather than having two heat sources going. So I use that. I use it along the edges. I use it here where you have a seam. Is that the seam? That's the seam. Right here to make it nice and flat. I've got this little sample that always stays out in the shop. So I use that when I'm pressing a seam open. I just like throwing things on the floor. It's my new thing.
You're picking them up.
I press. Oh, I will. Don't you worry.
I have orders to fill.
Barb has to ship your order. And I use that to hold my seam down and get it nice and flat. Gives me a really nice seam on my handles or anywhere that I have to piece thick pieces together. So those are my ironing tips. There's really nothing else that I do that I'm like, I'm not going to tell them about that. That's how I get Decor Bond to stick. The larger the piece, the more time. Start in the middle, work your way out towards the edges. Be gentle with your first pass so you're not stretching your fabric, and then kind of work your way around the edge, and you can add more pressure as it gets stuck. And another thing, if you are having a really hard time with your fabric stretching, with your pieces not being the right size, don't be afraid to cut them larger to begin with. If you need a 10 by 12 piece, cut it 10.5 by 12.5. You can always go back and trim it down, and then you'll be happier with nice clean edges. It happens to all of us. We stretch things out, we don't mean to. So don't be afraid to overcut your pieces. That's actually why sometimes I like bags that have templates, because I know it doesn't really matter how perfect it is because I'm going to trim it down anyway. But if you need to overcut things and undercut any of your interfacing, then you can always go back in. One thing, did I bring? I did. I wanted to just share this with you. This is from the fleece. Barb and I were laughing about this earlier. This is why I don't pay attention to instructions. It says, these are the general directions on fleece, and this is very similar to what used to be on Decor Bond, which for some reason was not printed this time. I don't know why. It says, cut the fleece to desired size. Okay, I can do that. Place it fusible side up on the ironing board, fabric right side up on top of fleece. I do that. Great, I'm on the right track here. Fuse. That's it. Fuse. Just do it. That's all that it says. And then it says for a light bond, which I don't know why any of us would want a light bond. We really want it to stick since we're going to make something with this and handle it a lot. For a light bond, I use the wool and steam setting. I iron it, and for most things that should be fine. It's not. I want it held on there. So for an extra strong bond, cover fleece and fabric with damp press cloth. No. With iron at wool steam setting, press for 10 to 15 seconds, and then in very large letters. Always use a damp press cloth and press down firmly. No. No, I'm not going to do that.
Jess says no.
No, no. The answer is no. Because it doesn't help, and it's another barrier between the iron and the fabric, which means it's going to take more time to fuse, if it fuses at all. And a damp press cloth, to me, to Barb, to someone else, they all mean different things. You might have a thick one or a thin one, and what if it's not helping? And by the time you're done, you're thinking to yourself, I followed the instructions and it doesn't adhere. This stuff is garbage and I'm doing something wrong, and what's happening? Just believe me, please just trust me. You've trusted me for several weeks now. Don't use a pressing cloth. Try out a clapper, turn up your iron, use steam, and that's it. And get a good surface. Recover your ironing board this weekend, or buy one from Tracy if you want to. So, unless we have any other questions.
Well,
do we have a
Ann
question?
Gerard has a question on another topic. Who is the fabric from the floral one you have on your bag sample? But I'm not sure what bag sample she's talking about. Do you know?
I don't know.
So
if you can let us know specifically what bag, I can answer.
And quickly on the comments, I can let her know.
Yes. So, Anne, if you want to let me know what bag, I can tell you. Otherwise, I don't know. We have a lot of flowers on bags, so I'm not sure which one.
Don't know.
Any pressing questions? Are we good?
We're good.
Okay. So, guys, if you want to do the swap, join the group. Let me know somehow. Leave me a comment. Send me an email. Let me know if you want me to organize the holiday swap. If you want to do the 30 days of giveaways, buy your tickets sooner rather than later. And if you want to sign up for Cork Club, you're down to probably the last week if you want to get in on September. I will not be showing you what we're shipping because it's going to be a surprise for everyone. So maybe after everything's shipped, I will show you what got sent out. Other than that, you know how to get a hold of me. It's a long weekend. I'm going to go, I hope so, and edit some videos and get some more things up for you guys. And I think that's going to do it. I think we're good.
I think we're good.
All right. So we're going to call it a day. You guys have an awesome weekend. And if you need
one more quick question.
I have one more question.
Do you have a favorite fleece?
My favorite fleece is the fusible fleece from Pellon, the 987F. That's what we sell on the website. I mentioned this last week, and I mentioned it in the interfacing video. If you can't find this, you can use the fusible Thermolam, which I'm going to rattle off a number, and it might be wrong. It's TP971, something in that area. Thermolam or fleece, for me, they're interchangeable. You can use either. And we have plenty of it in stock, and we have plenty of Decor Bond, and we're still waiting on Decoville, and I have no answers for you.
Well, Anne says the fuse showing in the background, which is some of your fabric, some Tula Pink fabric.
Yes. All right, very quickly before we call it a day. This is my fabric from Juniper, my fabric from Gypsy. That is Tula Pink. This is mine from Gypsy, and that is
Anne-Marie Horner?
No, that's Canvas from Rifle Paper
Oh, that's
Company.
right. Yeah. Okay.
So, all right. So we're going to call it a day. You guys have a good afternoon.
And happy Labor Day.
And happy Labor Day. Bye.